Hello there guys, it's Stephen here, welcome back to FOOTY.COM. Today we'll be talking about one of the biggest games in world football, and who better to talk about it than Tim Vickery, the BBC's Brazilian correspondent, obviously the man who knows more about South American football than the vast majority of us. It's the Copa Libertadores final, the first ever Superclasico final. It's going to be absolutely huge. It's a club, two clubs with an absolute immense amount of history behind them and a huge rivalry. And being honest with you, I am not the biggest expert on this area, but I thought I'd ask Tim a lot about this game because he knows more than most. Tim, how are you doing? And thank you for joining us on FOOTY.COM.
Yeah, pleasure. And I'm looking forward to kicking the ball around with this one. And it's almost too big. I'm a little bit worried. Yeah, I kind of didn't want it.
It's scary big, isn't it?
It's scary big. It's scary big in terms of, one fan has already been killed as a result of clashes. There'll be no visiting fans in either of the two games.
That's
it's scary in that sense, and it's also scary in the sense it just means too much. Now, we are talking about one of the biggest and one of the most important rivalries in the game, and these two, this home and away final, these are the biggest two games ever in the history of this rivalry. So it almost means too much, and the losers here will be taunted about this in 50 years' time. So fasten your seatbelts and let's enjoy the ride.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because most people, I presume, won't know that it's a two-legged final. It's not like the Champions League over in Europe. This is an actually game where they go to the stadiums of both of those teams, which makes it even more intense. So I guess why they've taken that step of not having the away fans there, because obviously an explosive rivalry. Isn't this the last year as well they're doing that? Is that right?
Yeah, from next year it's a one-off final on a neutral ground. So a veteran journalist over here, really good journalist, a Boca fan, he's already celebrating this because he's saying that, look, the way it's Boca at home first leg, River at home second leg. So if Boca win, they will do the lap of honour in River Stadium. Now that is the ultimate humiliation. And he's saying, look, if Boca win, Boca will be able to do that. River will probably never ever get that chance, because in order for that to happen, you'd have to have another Boca River final. Yeah. With Buenos Aires set as the venue and Boca Stadium chosen as the venue. So
it's never going to happen, is it?
No. It's so this is if Boca win it with a lap of honour in River Stadium, my God,
that's the dream, isn't it? Right there for any football fan, especially one given the rivalry. But that's the thing about the rivalry, because a lot of people once again won't know about why there's such an historic rivalry. I've been doing a bit of research myself. You'll be able to inform me more. But essentially, Boca are known as the People's Club and River as the millionaires, and there's more to it than that, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you've got to recognise the importance of Argentine football in Latin America. And it was the British who brought the game into this part of the world. But then it was the Argentines and the Uruguayans, and obviously Argentina with more importance just because Argentina is so much bigger, who really did so much to take the game up northwards. So you look even all the way up to Mexico, the dominance of Argentine football culture. And it's the big daddy, it's the country they all look to. And when Colombia in 1993, when they beat Argentina 5-0 in Buenos Aires in a World Cup qualifier, that was seen as a case of patricide, as a case of killing your father, So Argentina kind of does set the tone for a lot of what happens in South America. And this particular derby, both of them grew up, both River Plate and Boca Juniors, they grew up in the working class docklands area of Buenos Aires. Boca have stayed put. So Boca, it's a cramped, claustrophobic neighbourhood. There's no space. It's not entirely safe. It's the kind of neighbourhood where you avoid making eye contact and you keep your eyes down and you walk quickly. And their stadium kind of reflects this, and it's called the Bombonera, the chocolate box, for a reason. It just goes straight
on the wall somewhere. There we go. This wonderful little stadium. It's fantastic, isn't it?
It just goes straight up. It's not for vertigo sufferers, So you've got this atmosphere. Whereas River, decades ago, they moved out to the snooty suburbs. So River, their stadium, it's full of these. There's so much space there. It's surrounded by these wide avenues. The stadium itself is like this huge bowl. There are corridors in there so wide you could be in the United Nations building. So that the feeling that you get from the two places is totally different. Now, a lot of this happens on the level of symbols. I mean, the sociological surveys would seem to indicate that the profile of Boca fans and River fans is pretty much identical. You know, it goes across all the social classes, but on the level of the symbol, Boca are for the have-nots and River are for the haves, and that's also very important in South America because most of the derbies that we have here follow that kind of fault line. It's a fault line that you don't really find in European football.
No, you don't get it to an extent. No, definitely not.
But it's very, very strong in South American football. So all across South America, people can look at Boca River and that they can identify with the fault line of that derby. And that's one of the things that makes this clash so important.
And is it, obviously you live over in South America, is it the talk of the continent, I guess, at the moment? Is this all that's been focused on in the news?
Even in Brazil.
Even in Brazil, that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, on Brazilian TV, will start its coverage of the game an hour and a half before kickoff. That tells you, how much.
Are you nervous about a little bit about it?
Well, I'm hopeful. Firstly, that we don't have problems.
Yeah, of course.
Fan problems, which can happen all over Argentina. I'm also, it's going to be seen because it's Boca River. And because the hours have changed, usually this is Wednesday night, late night.
Yeah.
This has been switched to Saturday afternoon, really because the second game, which was scheduled for the 28th of November, it's just before the G20 meeting in Buenos Aires with Donald Trump. And so it's a huge security operation.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So to move it from that, they've switched both games to Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock Buenos Aires time, which is 8 o'clock UK time. So it means that many more people around the world and in Europe can watch it, because it's Boca River and because of the time. So I can absolutely guarantee fantastic atmosphere, unbelievable atmosphere.
Yeah.
I can absolutely guarantee drama. What I can't guarantee is quality of spectacle. And the players will just be under so much pressure that it may well be much more dramatic than. And I wouldn't expect. I was chatting to a mate of mine who's going down for these games, and he's a fanatic of Argentine football, and he's saying both these games will be awful, but they'll be dramatic.
It's the way, isn't it?
I to agree with him. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a level of attention to the Copa Libertadores final I've not seen before living over in the UK, and obviously because it's just two historic teams. And I've also saw this great quote recently when I was doing a bit of research about this game, how Deco, obviously the Brazilian-born Barcelona player, he was saying how he would exchange both his Champions League medals to win one Copa Libertadores. It means that much, doesn't it, to people in South America, which I love that quote. I mean, in your opinion, and I won't hold you to this, don't worry, is it the most exciting game in world football at the moment? Is it bigger than the Champions League?
Well, no, I think the Champions League will give you more quality.
Yeah,
without any doubt.
Definitely not as much passion, though, I would say.
Yeah, and let's take, for example, the recent game between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Now that means something. That's a huge political fault line there.
Yeah.
It's not only region against region. There's an ideological divide there.
Yeah, of course.
And in that game, you do get a spectacle. With, I hasten to add, in the recent one, all 6 goals were scored by South Americans, which tells you a lot about the contemporary chasm between European club football and South American club football.
Yeah, of course.
You look at all the goal scorers in that one. The one who left South America at the latest age was Arturo Vidal, who was 20. So all of these great players, they're playing the best years of their club careers. They're playing it in Europe. So here in South America, we can't compete anymore in terms of quality, and with that lack of quality, although these are pretty good teams, Boca and River, they've invested heavily for this season. The Argentine currency has since collapsed, so I'm not sure this is sustainable. So it's one of those that enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
So there are deep squads and there are good players, but there isn't the quality of Europe. And there's more pressure on than there is in Europe. So you put those two things together, and like I say, I guarantee the drama. I don't guarantee the quality.
But it's going to be a hell of a game either way, isn't it? It's going to be a hell of a spectacle. I think everyone's looking forward to this. I am personally looking forward to it. And I'm not going to lie, I've not watched a South American game for a long time, but I will be tuning in because I'm expecting it to be something, or at least feel something, even through the TV, that we don't tend to experience over in Europe. That's why I'm excited personally. I mean, a very quick prediction, which way do you see it going? Was it too hard to call?
No, I think it is. And both these teams come into the final with exactly equal records in the competition: 6 wins, 5 draws, and 1 defeat. And if you look at the record, Boca have scored a few more goals. River have conceded a few fewer.
Yeah.
No away goals rule in the final. Now that's important. We have away goals in every knockout round, and River qualified for the final on away goals, but no away goals rule in the final, which could mean that the first leg, Saturday in Boca Stadium is even tighter, because there's no onus on River to go and get that away
stadium,
that away goals. So yes, you'd imagine that would be the way. And they played recently, 2 months ago, in Boca Stadium in the league, and River won 2-0, which was that's a terrific victory. But Boca have changed their team a little bit since then. And that game was kind of like the last hurrah for late of your parish, Mr. Carlos Tevez, who went back, for his latest spell with Boca this year. Really hasn't worked out. Looks off the pace. And in the group phases of the Libertadores, the team very much looked a hostage to him, and he's lost his pace. So after that, we haven't seen him since in the Libertadores, not even as a sub. He's been on the bench, but they've made their 3 subs, and he hasn't been one of them.
Yeah, of course.
So the Boca team has changed since then. If you look at the way this game is lined up, Boca, I think, will play both of their wingers, and River like to attack with their fullbacks, and I think Boca will try and get with both of their wingers. Usually they play both of the wingers, Pavon and a new Colombian, Villa, who looks impressive. They play Villa away from home. I think they'll probably play both their wingers at home in this first leg, where River, I think, will try and outnumber Boca in the centre of midfield.
Yeah.
So that's the way that I see the game, the game lining up. But the thing that we don't know, and we can't possibly know, is what will be the effect of the pressure on these players. So, and if I have
never
to make
happened before, has it? So
no, exactly.
Yeah.
If I have to make a prediction, it will be for a tight first leg, and then the fireworks will be reserved for Rivers ground on the 24th.
Which we won't make you choose a team, don't worry, because it sounds like no one has a clue in the best way possible, which is how it should be a final, guess.
I'm one of the few people in the world with a shirt of both River Plate and Boca Juniors. There aren't many of us.
The original football hipster, Tim. Tim, thank you very much for offering your insight, because I think everyone's really excited by this game. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks, Tim. Go follow Tim on Twitter as well for being an absolute legend and sharing his insight with us. Guys, thanks very much for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win the Copa Libertadores, and we'll see you soon in a bit.